I think it's very important for you to be goal driven and for you to have a clear vision of where you want to be
Yeah.
and the things that you want to do. Because that obviously, that obviously helps a lot.
Hi, and welcome to the Life and Times podcast. We are on a mission to help those who are on their personal journeys of growth to feel empowered and expand their minds. We do this by sharing content that informs and inspires action through transformational interviews, storytelling, and real life lessons that you can apply today. Let's get into the episode. Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, Aquila, and this is the Life and Times podcast. Before we get into it, actually, take a minute and please hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out, helps us to reach more people, and to just, let us know that we're doing something all right. So today, I am joined by a very special guest. I have Felix in the house. We
Hey, hey,
went to high
hey.
school together, grew up together, and he's just doing some really, really dope stuff. And this is the type of stuff I really want to bring to my audience because,
Thank
yeah,
you. I appreciate that.
yes. So, sir, tell us introduce yourself to the listeners. Tell us who you are, what you do. Just introduce yourself to everyone.
All right, all right. Well, as you guys heard, my name is actually Felix Gonzalez. I am actually born in the Dominican Republic. I'm actually from the Dominican Republic. I came here when I was about 13 years old. Uh, and at the moment, right now, I'm actually working for Citizens as a personal banker. And I'm also doing real estate on the side as well, which is my main focus too. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That is really dope. I did not know that you were at Citizens, so that's cool. I didn't know
Yeah.
that you were in the banking industry, so that's good. I don't know if I feel like I'm saying baking. Banking and real estate go hand in hand. So really dope that you're in the banking industry. So is that where you have you been in that space for a while?
Yeah, it's about 4 5 years actually now that I started doing banking. Before that, I was actually doing financial reporting for State Street,
Mm-hmm.
but it was more like a desk job. So
Yeah.
I got kind of like, I don't want to say bored, but it was kind of like something. Um, I wanted to do more when it comes to people and interactions and things like that. So that's why I decided to go to banking, where I can actually face customers and talk to them one on one instead of just doing, the behind the desk job, which, it's nothing bad about it. Of course, if you love it, you love it. But it's just something that it was, you know.
Yeah. So, and then the real estate thing, how you're investing in real estate, that's super dope. So, how long have you been doing that?
So it's gonna be about 4 or 5 years now. I started when I was 27 when I first bought my first home, which was in Lynn at the time where things were not so crazy. Because right now the market is insane.
Is
Um, so I started that about 5 years ago, and I love it. I actually love the journey. There's a lot to learn, but if you're willing to do the work, if this is something that you like, it's something that you love and want to pursue, I think it will be the best fit for you.
Yeah. So you did. So it looks like banking and real estate. You kind of started those things around the same time. Did like one have something to do with the other that made you get into it, or?
No, honestly, I always say that God works in mysterious ways, and He honestly guides me through life the right way, and he opens a lot of opportunities. So I think that's exactly what happened. I think it was more like, it was something that happened kind of like out of the blue, because I wasn't thinking about going into real estate when I did at the time.
Yeah.
I was more like, just wanted to do my job and save money so I can, try to do different things and try different things. But um, real estate actually came because of one of my sister's friend was actually selling her a house.
Mm.
And at the time, I was not even ready. I wasn't even thinking about buying a house.
Yeah.
And the opportunity just came up. And all of a sudden, it was like, it was out of the, honestly, like I think about it, and it was kind of like out of the blue. I just kind of like had the money saved, and I didn't know anything, and I didn't know what kind of paperwork needed to be done or anything like that. But he was a really nice guy. He's actually a really nice guy, and he helped me through the whole process. And from there, I just loved it, because I saw the potential of, being financially free, and things like that. So that's pretty much what I'm doing, and what I love to do, and what I'm gonna keep doing, pretty much.
Yeah, I love it. So we're gonna get into to it some more, but you just mentioned, like, the importance of the importance of financial freedom. So talk a little bit about that. Why is that important to you? Like, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you grow up? I know you said you coming from the Dominican Republic. Like, just tell us a little bit about your background and that journey.
Well, when I first came to this country, I was 13 years old. I literally didn't know a word of English. I literally knew how to say hi and bye, pretty much. And then from there, I had to, start learning the language, getting to know, the lifestyle here, getting to, this completely different lifestyle that I had back home. Excuse me. So yeah, it was a little different than what I had at home, but I knew I had to adjust. So I did just that, and at the time I was living actually in Mattapan. So when I first came to this country, I was actually in Mattapan. I grew up in Mattapan, Dorchester, Roxbury area. And you know how it is over there, those places and things like that when you're growing up. But yeah, I mean, I was able to manage. From there, I started school. I started actually in bilingual because of the language barrier. And then like a year later, they put me back into normal, which I think it was a great idea, because I think it's sped up the process.
Yeah.
So I basically was in school. I had a little difficult childhood because at the time, I was actually just living with me and my sister, and I was literally probably 15 years old when that happened. So I was middle of high school. So I was living with my sister, and I was 15, she was 17. She had a part-time job. I think it was at a TD Bank at that time. Well, while she was still going to Madison. And we had to literally go started pretty much from the bottom, because we at that time we had to rent a room, and we literally were literally in someone's house, and we literally had to rent a room for a little while. So we had to go through that. And after that, things got a little bit better. She was able to find a better job, and God was able to bless us with a lot of different things that basically were able to move us out of that situation that we were in. So we ended up upgrading and going actually to a basement.
From the room to the basement.
And from the room to the basement. It's a huge improvement. It's a huge improvement.
Yeah.
But I remember it was a basement right there in Chelsea, actually. So I was actually traveling to Chelsea while I was actually going to school in Roxbury.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was so it was a little hike for me.
Yeah,
but it was good. What was that?
I said that's a lot to do as a teenager.
Yeah. No, you definitely get tested. But yeah, we were able to manage. And from there, we were basically in Chelsea for a little while, for about 2-3 years. And then I actually started working. My first job was actually in Kmart at the time, the one in Somerville. So I was there for about a year or two, and then after that, I actually went and uh, joined Album Pan or Album Pain. It's like a bakery shop
Mhm.
where I actually met my wife there when we were like 18, 19.
Oh wow.
So yeah. So high school was pretty dope because I got to meet a lot of great people like yourself, my brother Dante as well. He's been in the picture ever since. He's
Yeah.
actually been the Yeah, he's actually been the first person who actually was like super nice to me when I first actually went to Madison. So and
Yeah.
I basically didn't know much when it came to the language and how to say things, but he was like understanding and he was super nice. Till this day, that's my brother right there.
Yeah, that's so
Um,
dope.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much it growing up. I ended up graduating Madison in 2008. And then from there, I joined college. I actually went to Mass Bay Community College for a little while,
Mhm.
and I was there, but I never ended up finishing it. But it was because it was a little difficult for me to do school and work and having to pay bills at that time too, because it
Yeah.
was just again, um, but yeah, I was able to step away from school and actually find a good job. I actually worked for T-Mobile at the time when I was 21. I want to say 21, 22 years old.
Mhm.
And there, I just went up the ladder and became a sales rep. And then from sales rep, I went and was an assistant manager. And then from there, became a manager for a little bit. Uh, and then after that, I joined Stage Street, and then from Stage Street, I went to Citizens Bank, and now I'm in Citizens Bank and doing real estate at the same time. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much a little bit of my background there.
That's what's up. Well, that just shows a lot of like your story. I like a lot of it. I just, I didn't know a lot of that stuff. And I knew that you I didn't realize that you had came to Madison so pretty much so fresh from the Dominican
Yeah.
Republic. Like I remember you had like a real thick accent, but I didn't know.
I,
I
I
didn't
still do. I still
Yeah, you
do.
still do. It hasn't gone away. But I didn't know that like you
Uh,
had just learned the language. So you're doing pretty good. I think you learned pretty quickly. Um
oh man, thank you, thank you. It
yeah.
was it was tough though. It was tough. There's a lot of things that I didn't know, and I'm like, even my brothers too. To this day, used to make fun of me
Yeah.
back there. But it's all love, all love.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's cool. So tell us a little bit, so financial freedom, it sounds like it's something that's important to you because you're not coming from a background that sounds like very financially secure. You and your sister struggling to, make it work. And so now I know you have your wife, you have a son. So I can imagine you're just trying to make sure that you're setting your family up so that, you know, that they don't have to struggle, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and yeah, and like you mentioned, coming from my background, I didn't really have anything to start with.
Yeah.
So I kind of like had to, do it, and but so far, I have to say that I have been blessed. I think financial freedom for me means spending more time with my families, doing the things that I love. Not just going into an office or going to clock in or just going to someone's and work for someone else, and just spend your time that way.
Yeah.
I think your time is very valuable, and I think the older you get, the more you realize that, and that's just something that has been stuck with me ever since, and I want to be able to enjoy that. I want to be able to enjoy my family. I want to be able to enjoy my wife, my kids, and do the things that I love to do, because life is short, and you have to take advantage. You have to take advantage, and you have to do things the right way, of course.
Yeah. Most
And yeah,
definitely. So tell us a little bit
absolutely.
about how you got into it. Like, how did you start? Because a lot of people want to invest in real estate. How did you get started in doing that?
So I literally like I mentioned before, like I literally didn't really know anything about real estate. It was just kind of like a moment where everything just came and I was prepared for it. And then from there, I actually started learning more about it. I actually went and took classes. I just haven't taken my test, but I actually went to take some real estate classes and I learned a lot from it, as well as, being able to profit from it as well, which is a huge part of it. So I basically started with my first home in Lynn, and it obviously has its up and downs like everything else. Like if you have bad tenants, that's always gonna be a um like I want to say not a struggle, but
A struggle.
kind of like, yeah.
A struggle.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
It's a struggle. Yeah.
But yeah, you obviously face those challenges when you're in this business. But overall, if you love it, you're gonna do your best to take care of them without having to stress out too much.
Yeah. And that
Um,
first home, is it a multifamily or?
it's actually, yeah, it's a multifamily. It's actually a three family,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I'm basically renting everything out. After about that house, I basically was staying in the third floor for a little while and was renting the other two. So basically, I was able to pay my mortgage like that. So I didn't. So basically, all the money that I worked, I could basically save. So I ended up doing that. Ended up saving a lot. And 2 years later, I ended up buying my single family. So now I have a single family, and I'm renting my three family house. I mean, my three family, and also in Lynn.
Yeah.
So they're both like 5 minutes away from each other. I think it's that's one thing that you want to do, is actually have properties near, because it's actually a challenge when you have to drive 45 minutes to like an hour sometimes to
'Cause you gotta manage
to go to
them.
another city.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially when you're starting, you're gonna be there a lot of hours.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so I ended up buying my single family in Lane as well. And after that, and all the profit that I was actually getting from my single family, as well as um, you can do things like, for example, like taking home equities. If you have a home, that can be used for your second payment for your third house or your second house, and things like that. So that's pretty much what I ended up doing. So we ended up doing that, and from there we actually ended up buying a third home, and this one is actually in Lowell. I actually ended up closing in January.
Congrats.
So this one is actually a two family in Lowell as well. And yeah, so far so good. We just did some major renovations on the second floor, and yeah, so far has been great. I can't complain, honestly.
So how do you finance these things? Are you are you getting what kind of loans do you have to get? Are you getting rehab loans to fix them up, or are you doing traditional financing or whatever? How do you fund your deals?
So basically, some of the deals that I fund is usually through the home equities. Like basically, a home equity is you if you build enough equity in your home after a couple of years of being there, or a couple of years or more, you can build equity, and from there you can talk to a bank and actually take the equity out of the house and invest it into something else, or another property if you want to do that, or you can do renovations to your premises as well. And then yeah, then
That's cool. So are you using like HELOCs or home equity loans? I'm asking
So
because
so
I'm just curious because I have my first property, right? So I'm trying to get
yeah.
like you. I haven't gotten to your status yet, but I'm working my way up
No,
there. So I'm
no,
asking
you
for
you're
other
right
people
there.
and for
You're right.
myself.
You're like right there. You're like right there. So
Yeah.
HELOCs will be the best products actually, because right now they're actually really low when it comes to interest compared to anything else. You can get basically, I seen you can get actually 80% of your equity, up to 80%, sometimes 85% of your equity through HELOCs, which is actually the best way to fund your projects and your future investments as well.
Yeah. That's so dope.
The good and the good thing about those too, I'm actually the bank business is coming to me now. The
Yeah.
good thing about that too is that you actually can pay just on the interest, for 15 years if you want to, instead of actually paying principal and interest. So it's actually it's very beneficial.
Yeah. That's cool. So with the HELOC, I don't know, I just lost my question. Oh, so like when you're doing this, right? So let's say you're
Yes,
taking a HELOC because the HELOC has like a variable interest rate on it, right? So it goes up and
you can
down.
do you can do fix as
You
well.
can?
You can do fix,
I didn't
yes.
know that. I didn't know you
You
could do
can
that with this stuff.
you can do fix, you can do variable, but usually people will do fix interest.
Oh, so what's the interest rate looking like on a fixed HELOC right now, Mr.
So
Banker?
right now, oof, right, I think they're starting to go up because right now they're at 4.1, I believe.
Mm,
When I think, like, I want to say 3 months later, 3 months before, it was actually around 3.25.
yeah. Oh
So
wow.
it's actually going up. The market is since the market is booming, they're gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. So, how does like what do you need in order to qualify? Oh, sorry. What do you need in order to qualify for a HELOC? What do you have to look like? What's this whole picture? So I'm just, I got the banker right here, so
All right.
I gotta get all the details. Help us all out.
All right, I gotta give you a little lesson now. Then.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. But no. I mean, usually HELOCs are pretty easy. Usually, what they ask for is either like your mortgage statement, mortgage insurance. If you have your tax returns as well. Um, those are pretty. Yeah. So your tax returns. Um, what was the first two I said? So
Your
tax returns,
tax returns, your mortgage statement.
mortgage statement, mortgage insurance as well.
Mm,
I mean insurance declaration page,
mm.
um, and basically your W-2s and your tax returns.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
What
So it's
about?
it's, it's
I'm sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So what about for somebody who doesn't have like a traditional W-2? Like somebody that's like a business owner, or if there's someone who is doing like I don't know, just doesn't have like a traditional W-2, then what's the process like for that? And
So
what
most
do you
likely,
need?
if you don't have a W-2, you're gonna need like a W-9,
Mm,
which is since you basically are a business, they're gonna ask for that, and basically like your taxes as well. So if you have any records on your taxes and things like that, as well as a W-9,
yeah.
that's pretty much what they ask compared to like a W-2.
Yeah. That's cool. And then what about like is there a minimum income that you need in order to qualify? So let's say you have, I don't know, however much, however much
I
equity.
think I
I don't know.
I I think honestly, I think they don't take that. I want to say because I haven't seen it where people who make $40,000 have gotten rejected. You know what I mean? Or people who have made $30,000 have gotten rejected. It's more of like if you have everything in line, like if everything makes sense, like if your paperwork makes sense, your it obviously makes the process a lot more easier.
Yeah.
And if they do for some reason need more, want to say like information, they'll either ask for something else or for something else. But usually, like I haven't seen it where people who make 40 or $30,000 get declined.
Mm.
It all depends on your loan to value as well.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That all makes sense. So, in terms of like just your, your mindset, because you seem, you have to be driven in order to, to succeed and to come from, where you're coming from to where you're at now and where you're trying to go. Like, how did you develop that mindset? Like, what drives you to be able to do something more? Did you see people when you were growing up who were, shooting for their financial freedom, and or who are business owners and doing all these different things and investing, or like, where does this come from for you?
I think honestly, it all depends on with the people that you hang out with.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what started it for me. I think I saw most of my friends are older than me.
Mm-hmm.
They're about 5 to 6 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're all in good standards with things, and um, so I always admire that about them, and I always wanted to do things like that. So that drove me to be, to absorb as much as I could from them, in that way,
Yeah.
um, and basically, just take that energy and just go with it, and that's pretty much what I've been doing. Just trying to reach this goal, by the age of 40, I want to say, in a couple of 10 years or so. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it's very important for you to be goal driven and for you to have a clear vision of where you want to be,
Yeah.
and the things that you want to do, because that obviously helps a lot. So.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. I think that's, it's mindset and in your environment is like super important, just like you just said, like, and that's
Absolutely.
why I'm always encouraging people, like, if you are in a space where you don't like your surroundings, or you're not, what you're seeing around you isn't aligned with where you're trying to go, try as best you can to find a different
Step away
environment.
from that.
Yeah, step
Yeah,
away from it. And sometimes I know it's hard. Like, it's not always easy to just, find a whole different group. But then that's also why
exactly.
there's platforms like this, and there are so many other platforms that you can tap into that are just uplifting, that are positive, where you can
Absolutely.
see people who are
Absolutely.
doing things that you want to do, especially, and people that you can relate to. So I think,
Exactly.
yeah, it definitely, it's that's so important, so important. um
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so what are your goals? Like, what are your goals in real estate? You said you got a goal by 40. Are you trying to retire by 40? Like, what's your
I'm trying to not work as much by 40, to be honest
yeah.
with you. No, I honestly, like, I do wanna keep buying more properties, and at the moment too, I'm actually in the middle of building one in the Dominican Republic too.
Oh,
So
that's so dope.
yeah, so I'm actually, that's something that I wanna do and enjoy. So probably by the time I'm 40, I'm probably gonna retire over there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You never know where you you never know where you're gonna be at. But with the guidance of God, of course, I think I think my main goal will be to just just be able to spend time the way that I wanted to spend it. I know I have emphasized a lot about that, but I just feel like once you gain your own time, you have so much potential to think about things and do things a lot more differently
Yeah.
compared to if you're um, working for someone, and things like that. So I think majorly my main goal is to obviously be financially free, where I can, go on vacation for a month and not worry about anything. Um, and have my family, have something for my family, so they can live off of. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the main reason why I'm doing this. I want to be able to also inspire people, because a lot of us come from a lot of harsh backgrounds and things like that. So obviously I want to be an inspiration, and also um, you know help others who are in this journey as well, reach their goal, and reach whatever it is that they wanna accomplish.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're definitely, you're already inspiring people. You're inspiring me, honestly. Like, and I'm sure a lot of other people are gonna watch this. Maybe some of the people that we grew up with, can even watch this and
Yeah,
say,
I can't wait.
it can't be that out of reach. He's doing it. I know him. Like, he's not like, he wasn't like, he didn't grow up rich and do all of this stuff. Like, if you can figure it out,
Absolutely not.
any can figure it out. We can all figure it out. It's just really just having a goal, and
Applying yourself.
applying yourself to it. Yeah, it's not, and
Hmm.
not just a dream, like, oh, it would be nice, but like, this is the actual goal. I want to, be a homeowner. I want to invest. I want to do whatever it is. It doesn't have to
Yeah,
be real estate specifically, but whatever it is, like, that you want to do, it doesn't have to be so out of reach or seem like it's something that's for them and not me, whoever them is in your picture. But
exactly, exactly.
yeah,
And you'll be surprised, like, how many people I have talked to, and they think like it's like impossible to
yeah,
do, buy a home, or own a home. And it's like it's like it's really I wanna like it's really not, because if you really put your mind into it, and you basically do a little bit of research,
yeah,
you'll find out a lot of things that you wouldn't know before, and that opens up a whole nother world for you to look into things
yeah,
a lot different.
yep,
There's also all kinds of programs. You just have to be out there. But there's also like first home buyers program. There's FHA loans, which is, they're great actually for first home buyers.
hmm,
And there's also, yeah, there's a lot of programs you can actually take advantage of if this is really something that you actually want to do.
definitely.
Um, Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. A lot of times we're held back by what we don't know. But like you said, there are so many programs, like the first time home buyer, like, and if we're talking about Massachusetts and Boston, and I know for sure there are a lot of programs that help you with down payment assistance. Um, there are a lot of programs like NACA. They can,
Yeah.
they help you to
Yes.
buy a home, zero money down. It was something that I wish I would have learned about years ago, but I didn't learn about until, it was a little late in the game for me. But um, but
Nah, but we're getting there. We're getting
yeah,
there.
there's so many different programs that are out there, and a lot of people are afraid of like the credit thing. Your credit is not as hard to fix as a lot of people may think. A lot of
Exactly.
times it's really just paying things on time, and sometimes your credit only looks bad just because your balances on your credit card are too high, and as soon as you pay them down, it shoots right up.
Exactly, exactly.
Sometimes
You
they
have
just
to
go
understand
down.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to understand that, when it comes to the credit card and stuff, you have to only use 30% of it. If you
yeah,
use more than that, they're gonna look at you as a liability,
yeah,
someone who can't, support themselves, or pay their bills. So
yep,
that's pretty much. If you keep it around there, let's say if you have $500 and you use 150 or 200 max, and just pay it off when the bill comes out, you'll be okay. You'll
yeah,
be good.
definitely. And that was something that I had to learn, because I remember like years ago, like when my mother had passed away, and I decided to, I took some time off of work, and I was like living off of my credit cards. Before then, I looked and I saw, my credit score was like mid 700s, and I was like, oh,
Hmm.
cool. And then One day I turned around and I looked, and it was like almost 5. I was like, what? It's like
Oh
6:04 or something.
man.
I was like, what the heck is going on? But then, once I started paying it down, I realized that, it would just kept shooting back up. And I realized
Hmm.
that, this sometimes, it's just a little seesaw. It's a little balance game that you got to
Yeah,
play. And sometimes it's not as scary as you think.
exactly. And
Yeah.
like I mentioned before, just going out there and just doing a little bit of research can help you out a long, long way. Um, when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, most definitely. So, what advice, I guess, if you could just advise anybody, like think about somebody who grew up like us. They grew up in the hood, or maybe somebody who's coming to this country and like you, and they didn't know very much, or they're just not feeling like, we're going into a world that's just not embracing us, basically. And you feel like you don't have the resources, you don't feel like you have anything. Like, how do you encourage that person to want more for themselves and to go for more for themselves?
Mm, let me see. One thing that I can always say is that nothing in life, lasts forever. So when it comes to your struggles, and sometimes especially us people who come from this backgrounds, my main I want to say advice will be to just keep going. Honestly, I think you have to believe in you. You have to believe in your potential. You have to um, make sure that you're basically, I want to say, I want to say, in that sense, like, take care of yourself, because a lot of us have a lot of doubts, especially when we come from these backgrounds, and we think that we cannot do certain things because of how we grew up. So I think it's very important for you to believe in yourself, and if you have something that motivates you, and it's a passion of yours, I think you should absolutely go for it, because you just never know. It's better to actually try to go for something than to wonder 40 years later or 10 years later what could have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think is my advice to you and to everyone, and anybody who's listening, is to just go for it. I know it's tough. I know there's gonna be some tough days, there's gonna be some tough times. um I think for me, honestly, it helped me a lot. Praying actually helped me a lot, and and that's something that I encourage also people to do too, because you can find a clear head when you actually when you're actually praying, and just yeah, just basically know your values, know your worth, know that you can do this. If honestly, if I can do it, anybody can do it, because a lot of us have um, have difficulties when we come to this country, and I think it's really important for you to know your worth, and to know basically what you can actually offer to others. Like, that's one thing that I see as well. Like, how can I help others improve themselves? Like, you have to make sure that you're good to be able to help others. So as much as I want to emphasize on that, I think it's just very important for you to believe in yourself, to uplift yourself always, because is there's a lot of background noise that,
Yeah.
that gets to us at time, and we just listen to them a lot more than what we actually are capable of doing. So I think that will be my main advice, honestly, because that's just something that I struggle with, and I just knew that I had to keep going, and I knew that I had to believe in myself, and I knew that I wanted something more for myself. I wanted something more for my family as well. So that always drove me for, to go for more, and to do more, and to be more as well.
Yeah. And you touched on your faith a little bit too. So I want to, talk about that. Like how do you think that like, your faith has do you think that that's a contribution to your success, or like talk about your faith a little bit, what that looks like for you and
Oh, absolutely. I think faith is part of my life, my lifestyle. I grew up actually going to church. I actually went to church in Dominican Republic, and from there I just grew up. And when I came here, actually, my stepmom was she was a Jehovah Witness.
Mhm.
So we actually went to the Kingdom Hall, and I continue my spiritual education through there. But then, after we separated, I guess, and I actually went and started, living with my sister and things like that. Then I kind of like stepped away from it, but um, I was still praying. I was still, I was still reading. I was still, whenever I could, I would. And honestly, I think God has helped me, and has taken me out of a lot of situations.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and I think I wouldn't be here if I didn't have His guidance. To be honest with you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you on that. And once the foundation is set, I think it gives you something, that spiritual foundation is there.
Yes,
It always
yes,
gives you
yes.
something to fall back on. And the same, I can say I felt like I've been brought through so many different situations, so many times where I could have not been here anymore. Um,
Yes,
and
yes, yes,
and also
yes.
just so many times where I felt like went through situations and it just things got real tough and it felt
Yeah,
hopeless, like feel like you
yeah.
can't, man, it's over from here. But
Exactly,
um
exactly.
just having
And
that
again,
grounding.
that's all those bad thoughts in the back of your head. That's why we
Exactly.
we we have to, make sure that we're in good standards, and we're praying, and yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it definitely helps to have some spiritual grounding in your life, whatever you believe in. But I think it's important. And it's something that I noticed too, because I'm not, I didn't start this podcast with the intention of ever really talking about like any type of like religious things, but it has come up in every single one. And I'm realizing like I also feel like, people who tend to like a lot of, not all the time, but a lot of people that I'm running in contact with who have like um reached certain things, or who are doing certain things, or have certain type of belief in themselves, they usually have a spiritual grounding of some sort of spiritual practice within them. And I think just being attached to something that's bigger than yourself can give yourself a vision for your life that's bigger than yourself.
Absolutely. a
Yeah.
hundred percent agree. Couldn't have said it better, to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think it's really important for you to have a relationship with God, or whatever it is that you believe in. And you can definitely see a lot more, and a lot clear when you open up to those things.
Yeah, definitely. Felix, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. I'm
Oh
so,
man,
so proud of you. So happy for you. So just,
thank you, thank you.
yeah, I'm happy to hear all that you're doing. I love seeing your family on social media and your son.
Likewise, I love seeing your daughter as well.
Yes, your
I
son
hope
is
I
so
hope she's
cute.
doing good.
That little
No,
video that you
thank you, thank
posted
you.
the other day with him. I'm like,
And he was dancing, and oh my God,
that was
he's
so
he's
funny.
he's too much. He's upstairs probably napping.
Yeah, that's so funny. But thank you so much. I
Um,
appreciate you. This was
Absolutely. No, thank you for having me. Honestly, this is actually my first uh, podcast ever, and I was actually a little nervous, but it actually turned out to be a lot more relaxing and more like conversation wise than
yeah.
anything. So I really appreciate that, and thank you for listening. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
listening and having me over.
Definitely. And you're gonna keep growing from here. So I'm sure it won't be your last podcast. People are gonna start knocking on your door. Come talk to us. Come. So, but
And same to
it's been
you.
here
Same to you.
first.
Next thing you know, you're gonna have some celebrities or something next time.
Yeah, yeah. And when you turn into a celebrity, I'll have you back too.
Oh, you better believe it. You better believe it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. I hope that you got a lot of information out of this as much as I did, and I hope you're inspired to go out and do something. Whatever it is that you have in your heart, or whatever goal it is that you have, go for it. Believe in yourself, and it can be done. All right, everybody.
Absolutely.
Peace.